So the Cowleys have left Lincoln City today by all accounts. The final details need to be agreed between the two clubs, but it looks like it's a fait accompli, and by the end of today, or certainly tomorrow, Danny Cowley will be the manager of Huddersfield Town, and he'll have his brother with him. Very difficult day, difficult news to take for Lincoln City fans. The journey that they've been taken on by the Cowley brothers is nothing short of phenomenal, but I hope that the overriding emotion that anyone associated with Lincoln City feels once all is said and done is just gratitude for the work that they've done. Forget the way that they made people feel, forget the amazing experiences, forget the promotions, the trophies, but just their relentless commitment to the task, to the job. They are relentless hard workers. They've shouldered the responsibility of lifting a football club from really low position in Lincoln City's history to just about the most extreme highs that the club's ever experienced. Well, they are the most extreme highs the club's ever experienced. They sit fifth in League One with averaging gates of 8,500 at the moment. When they took over 4 years ago, they were averaging about 2,000, and they hadn't finished above 13th in the Conference National in their 5 or 6 seasons since dropping out of the Football League. At that time, Bob Dorrien, the chairman, was and his fellow directors were subsidising a loss-making operation. Their playing budget was pretty low because they couldn't afford to pay much more, and a former Football League club was floundering in the conference with a very real possibility of another relegation not being too far ahead. Simply because they'd struggled to find any way of getting back up toward and threatening to get promoted back out of the conference. The Cowleys came in and all that changed. They came in with limited budget, they gave up full-time jobs in teaching, had been enormously successful in part-time football in non-league, and they took to professional football like a duck to water, and they were relentlessly successful from pretty much match one. And that is down to sheer force of personality, sheer force of hard work, sheer force of organisation and discipline and commitment to their task. They will be successful whatever they do. Whatever they do, they could go and run a plumbing firm tomorrow and they would be successful because they are hard workers. They prepare diligently, and they stick, and they don't turn around at the first sign of danger and start again with a new plan. They stick to their plan and they force it through by sheer hard work. Of course, they've got great footballing instincts. They had a great career and a career had careers to be proud of in non-league football. They might not have had professional careers, but they played at some really good clubs in non-league football, played under a lot of managers, had a lot of experiences that I think have stood them in good stead as managers. And they then have also taken their learning as teachers, as PE teachers at a successful school, into professional football, and that accumulated life experiences on top of their football knowledge, on top of their capability to communicate effectively, has combined to make them phenomenally successful as coaches. They've managed in every level of football, from level 10 up to level 3 in English football, and now they're going into level 2. And I don't think you do that without being a very special coach, very special personalities. When I was lucky to spend an afternoon or a day with them actually at Lincoln City in the early days of their tenure, the day after they'd beaten Oldham Athletic in the second round of that very famous FA Cup run. And I sat with them in the manager's office in the afternoon. They were eating toast. They had a toaster, and that seemed to be the thing that kept them going. They almost fueled by toast. Probably didn't have time to make anything else because they were too busy working on the job at hand. But one of the directors came in and holding a match ball, and he explained to them that those match balls cost 49 quid. And so he went on to say they couldn't have a bag full of those balls to train with. Danny and Nicky had decided that training with the match balls would make the players more comfortable, would be more effective, would basically give them a small improvement in their performances. and they felt it was professional and the right way to go about it. So they'd said to the board, can we have a bag full of these match balls so we don't just train with these 15 quid training balls where the ball reacts slightly differently when you strike it, they lose air a little bit more, just only small differences but enough to make a difference. And so Kevin, the director, said, sorry, but you can't have these balls. It's going to cost us 1,500 quid or whatever, a couple of grand, and that's 1,500 quid we don't have at the moment. And those are the kind of circumstances under which they worked to start off with. And they were almost as self-sustained in terms of the economy that they created at Lincoln City. The success that they got, the money through the gate, the new sponsors, the prize money in the FA Cup run, and then that spiraled obviously with more and more success, and I get the impression they spent as they earned the money. So they really paid their way. The return on the investment there was a business case for everything, and that just highlighted it. So they have done this the hard way, and they've got to a position now where they deserve everything that they get. The money that they'll get in their new roles will be life-changing, I suspect, for them and their families, and they all deserve it. They all deserve it because they have worked 80, 90-hour weeks. They've gone up and down the motorways between Essex and Lincoln in the early days. Then they've moved their families up, and they've continued to put huge efforts into improving everything about Lincoln City Football Club. So as I say, I really hope that Lincoln fans demonstrate their gratitude, and I also hope that they continue to support Lincoln City Football Club when a new manager comes in, because as the Cowleys said, they were just looking after the football club until they passed it on to someone else, and I don't think they could have dreamed of doing a better job, or the people associated with the football club could have dreamed that they would have had managers that looked after their football club and improved the fortunes and the future for the football club in the way that the Cowleys have done. And for the same reason, Huddersfield fans should feel very confident that they're inheriting guys who will stop at nothing to improve their football club. I'm not saying it's going to be instant success. I don't necessarily see them getting promoted this year, although they've got an outside shot. But they will look to improve everything. They won't need to spend as much time building bridges in the community, building bridges with people who could potentially put some money into the club, because a lot of that stuff is already done at Huddersfield. The infrastructure is there. They were a Premier League club last year. They're very well run by a group of seasoned business people on the board. So hopefully the Cowleys can concentrate on football a little bit more. But don't underestimate the impact that they will still have on the people of the local area, and I'm sure that they will galvanise and create a sense of we're all in this together, because that's how they work. Danny's an incredible communicator, incredible public speaker. You can think of any of the most famous public speakers in history, and he can probably pull those type of performances out of the bag when he's in front of a camera, in front of a group of people, whether that's 15, 20 players in a dressing room, or whether it's thousands in a stadium, on a stage, whatever. The guy is a very accomplished speaker, very intelligent, but it's not just words. It's never just words with the Cowleys, because they back every single word up with twice as many actions. That's how hard they work. So as a Huddersfield Town fan, I would feel really confident that these guys at the very least are going to improve things. Whether they improve things to the extent that Huddersfield Town becomes a Premier League club again, it's hard to say. On the football side of things, people who criticise the Cowleys, usually the green-eyed monsters, will say that they play direct football, and that, in my opinion, is true. They have played primarily direct football in their time at Lincoln City and even at Braintree beforehand. I can't use examples from their time at Concord Rangers, but I've seen football up close and on the television at both clubs, and I find that they have used direct football more, but sometimes that's about the environment, the players that you have at your disposal, your limitations. They have to be translated into the very best chance of you winning, and they are winners. They find a way to win with the resources that they have. If they come into Huddersfield and see that they can't play that way, or that it won't be as successful in their opinion as doing it another way, then they'll play another way. I don't think they pay lip service to aesthetics. I don't think they listen to anyone who criticises them and their style of play. They find a way that wins. And at Huddersfield, they might inherit a group of technical players where they can play more football than they have done previously. And I'm very confident that as football people, as coaches, and as a manager, Danny Cowley, they can find the right tactics and the right team system and approach and method to win that perhaps could have a little bit more technical quality in it, play through the third, not necessarily be as direct, but whatever happens, every player will know exactly what his responsibility is. Every player will be given the opportunity to improve and will probably be forcibly improved by the force of personality that the Cowleys have. And that, yeah, they'll be organised. The very least that they will be is very, very organised and very hard working. They will inherit, I hope they'll inherit the likes of Mark Hudson and Dean Whitehead. I hope they stay at Huddersfield, because I think that the Cowleys need support from other coaches with qualities as coaches on the training ground, and also from a tactical perspective and the knowledge of the players in the Championship, and with the development ethos that they have with the groups coming through. I know that the 23s of the professional development squad under Dean Whitehead, a very impressive group. And I think the Cowleys are going to have to broaden their net in terms of the technical body that they work with. It's a bigger club, bigger staff, more responsibilities that need to be delegated, and that's probably a challenge and a development for them, and a chance for them to improve and develop in terms of their own experience. This is Championship football. It's not Ryman League football, it's not Conference football, it's not League One or League Two football. Championship football, Championship is probably the 5th or 6th strongest league in the world. And it's testament to their progress and their abilities and their quality and their achievements that they now find themselves in that company. But make no bones about it, I'm absolutely certain that they will go on and be successful at that level and probably the next level up, because for me it's an inevitability, if you put all of the qualities that they have with their work ethic, that they will be successful over time. It doesn't necessarily mean it comes immediately, it doesn't necessarily mean they won't have failings, it doesn't necessarily mean that at some stage they won't face the sack, because football is that way inclined these days. A lack of short-term progress or evident progress sometimes results in quick decisions. But Huddersfield Town fans, you're inheriting two incredible men, great human beings. They work, as I say, just incredibly hard. I've never heard of or seen. I've not spent day in day out time in professional football or around professional footballers that much. I've not been in it for years and years and years. But what I can tell you is that I have never heard of managers who work as hard as these guys do, and work as many hours. They're obsessed with winning, obsessed with improvement, and they make everyone around them better. So clearly I have a very high opinion of them, and so far everything that I thought they would be, they have been and more. So who's to suggest that they're not going to be a massive success in their next job? It will be interesting to see what happens. Good luck to everyone at Lincoln City, and to my pals and people that I've known and loved over the years who are proud Terriers. I'm really pleased for you all. Okay, all the best.